excites me about Natal the most is it's going to allow us to interact with gamers in a much new way. So it's kind of like going to bring us into a 3D space as opposed to kind of the 2D play area we have now. So I think it's a total new sandbox, and it definitely opens up a new way of creativity for ways to look at making games and interacting with our customers and consumers.
Getting rid of the controller for some user interface stuff will be really empowering, and folks that aren't comfortable with a controller in their hands will have an opportunity to play. So that'll hopefully broaden the audience. But I think for myself, I'm just looking forward to even the small things of being able to control the menus with gestures, and hopefully with voice recognition also doing, you know, I'm not saying it's HAL in the living room, but maybe the console will recognize my voice and greet me when I'm there, or stuff like that. So I'm not in the know. We're not working with those controllers, but you know, my imagination's running wild with what you could do.
I think that the new motion controls coming really excite me for a few reasons. One is, I know for us at BioWare, and the fact that we're always trying to get great digital acting for virtual characters, it actually may provide an opportunity for us to put the actual player in the game as an actor. You know, and you think, well, we've done that before, but you've never done it in such a way that you could use gestures instead of dialogue controls to actually converse with someone. This kind of concept is something that is very, very kind of far out there, but something that I think is has a lot of potential, and just the concept of actually making the game so engaging that you feel like you're even more inside it is really strong.
I'm excited by some of the different activities that are going to come from both of those that I think we've seen in other motion control devices.
What excites me about Arc and Natal are, any time you can find a way to make a game fresh, that's exciting as a game player, as a game designer. So both of those certainly seem to allow the potential for fresh new ways of playing games. It concerns me. I mean, the reality is that I don't want to sit and play a game like this all day long. I don't want to sit and play a game like this all day long. Now, there are certain games that I'm sure will be awesome for those pieces of hardware, and I'm looking forward to them. But it's hard to separate how much of both Sony's motion controller and Natal is the excitement coming from a lot of PR and hype, or is there genuine excitement from gamers?
What concerns me the most about Natal is, again, gaming's a very tactile experience. You want to feel something, the vibrations from rumble controllers, the feel of a steering wheel. And I think part of the challenge we have as game developers is still being able to provide that, tactile experience with all the sensory perception we have, with a device that potentially doesn't give you that.
I'm not terribly concerned about these controllers or these kind of motion sensing stuff replacing the controller. I think the controller is a result of evolution to a certain stage, and I think a lot of us as gamers will still want to play our Call of Duties or Halos and Left 4 Dead games with the traditional controllers. I don't think that's really going to replace the controller in that respect.
I think the motion controls, there is a dark side to them, which I know personally. It's interesting when you play the Wii, for example. You can Wii bowl, like swinging your arm like a maniac, or you can just do a wrist flick. And what I've learned personally is I can't swing my arm very long, but I could wrist flick a lot. So I think it's going to be hard finding the balance between how active you want the actual acting to be, and against what can a player actually tolerate. I mean, we can't have a game where you're running in spot and pointing your finger at the gun, but I imagine people will have designs like that, and those just aren't going to work because you have to think of what the player, what you can actually support.
I would be very concerned if it became a casual playground with small, bite-sized minigame hell. While I think there's a market for that, I think both of those technologies could easily be pigeonholed in that area, and that's not the customer we want to speak to or attract.
It will open new opportunities for us to do different kinds of games, or to augment our games with new features, and hopefully more than just kind of smoke and mirrors, cheap thrills, but actually building more depth into the games with more gestures and so forth. So it'll be cool.